Hello and welcome to day 2, the 3 myths of getting to my 100K. And today is the weekend, so I'm just only gonna try to compress this within just a 10-minute sharing session. But I actually feel like I really would love to actually debunk 3 biggest myths that I actually overcome before I actually get my 100K. So I was always in the insurance industry, and 100K is like something that everybody says that is their very first biggest financial milestone. And for me, actually, like stepping into the insurance industry, I actually struggled to actually get to the 100K mark. And for several years, I was always somewhere hovering around the 50 to 60 to even to the 70K. And I couldn't break through that barrier. I couldn't break past, putting in additional effort for the next additional 30K in order to get to my financial goal. And why is this so? Because at the end of it all, when I actually went into doing coaching, being coached myself, when I actually went to uncover, some of the money mindset blocks that I had, there were actually 3 biggest myths that were actually pulling me back. Things that actually stopped me emotionally, internally, forming that internal resistance to stop me from getting to that 100K. And the moment I actually unblocked it, the moment I was doing a lot of inner work to actually release all of the emotional, mental blockages, I actually reached my 100K from both of my businesses, insurance and coaching, in 14 months. And given the fact that I was having a certain lifestyle, which later on I'll share with you, it is honestly pretty unbelievable, because in my world previously, I wouldn't have thought that it was possible. So first myth, I have to sacrifice one part of my life to succeed in another. And how often we actually hear it from people around us that if I want to have more money, I have to sacrifice my family. If I want to, have career success, if I want to climb up the corporate ladder, I actually have to, be single because I need to focus all of my time in my work, in my career, and I cannot be doing anything else that's distracting. And this was actually one of the myths that I actually had until I actually met my husband. So if I wouldn't meet my husband, I don't know, I would actually be like, some high flyer, on the corporate ladder, but a very lonely one at that. So I have to sacrifice one part of my life to succeed in another. I also have to sacrifice my health. I also have to sacrifice my family life. I have to sacrifice my personal time so that I can stay back longer in the office, or actually I need more time at the desk. And the truth is, conversely, when we actually unlock to having freedom in one area of our life, it would actually be a ripple effect and support it in the other aspects. Get it that all of us is a whole being. Okay, we cannot say that we exist in this world with for just pure money's sake, but I don't need health. It can't be that, right? Because if you have no health, you have no money. I can do without friends. But you realize that those people who actually lack social or support system often are also very closed in ideas, and they only know one way of doing things, and actually limits their creativity. It actually hinders their productivity. So when we actually, and that's the reason why for me, I started off unblocking with time. The moment that I actually experienced time freedom in my life, I realized that, hey, I want to actually be emotionally free from all these negative emotions. Hey, hello, Yuchen. Yeah. Hello, Pike. Okay. So I actually want to actually feel that if I unlock time freedom in one area, hey, I actually want to experience money freedom. I actually want to experience relationship freedom. And relationship freedom does not mean that you go and carelessly date anybody else, but it actually means that you can get to be your true being with your partner. You can get to say what is on your mind without being afraid that the other person will judge you. You actually get to be yourself, to feel safe in your own relationship, and to have this really open and trusting communication style with your partner. And that is actually having freedom in your relationship, isn't it? Like we get to actually experience the whole being of ourselves Hi, Claire from Dubai. Yeah, right? So gaining true freedom in one area would actually lead us to have a ripple effect. I started off with time, then I started unblocking money. I started unblocking, even improving on my communication method with my partner. I also unblocked like the emotional connection with my son, until to the point where right now everything around me in my life is nothing but freedom. Okay. Second myth, if Ayo, hi Claire. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. You are amazing as well. Like, our 7 day momentum challenge. So, number two, if I want something so badly, I just need to work hard, more, slave more, longer. Right? So this actually means that if I want to have more sales, I actually need to meet more people. I need to burn my weekends. I need to work endlessly. I need to have no rest. I need to be this work machine, this workhorse machine that needs no rest, until your health will come in and kick you in the face, and you realize that your body breaks down. Because the truth to this myth is, if you want to be energy efficient, you all gotta have clean, pure energy. And in fact, like if in everything in life is all about balance, we need to hit that optimal point where we actually have both efficiency and productivity. Anything more than that becomes counterproductive. Anything beyond that becomes a stress point where our body is not, where we actually become too micro, and then we actually laser in on all the small things that may not matter as much as the big picture, right? And if you actually want to be energy efficient, okay, energy efficient meaning that you do things fast, you have very strong mental clarity, your thought process is very fast, the way that you do is you don't hesitate, you are very decisive, right? Like right now, okay, your energy has to be very clean. This means that whenever you do a form of sales, there shouldn't be any form of guilt, any form of shaming, any form of baggage, like I have to make him sign, if not I am blah blah blah, right? The way that we think, like for example, I decide to say no to somebody, are you able to reject the other person with no hint of guilt? Or you're able to stand your ground? If you're able to stand your ground, fully believe in it, and the other person moves along with your momentum, then yes, you have a very clean and pure energy. But if your energy is being bogged down by regret, by guilt, by resentment, by rage, any negative emotion, that is how it's going to be sent back to your momentum. It's going to pull your action back. It's in fact going to do even more damage the longer that you sit in front of the computer, because it's going to make you tired. It's going to make you unproductive. It's actually going to be a waste of time, because you realize that when your other friends are having a blast with their family members, you are wowing your time in front of the computer. Okay, so that is actually the second myth. The third myth is, if you want to get started early, wake up at 5 a.m. and start crunching your to-do list. So how many of you have actually heard about the 5 a.m. book club by Robin Sharma? All right, so that, and if you actually read like, the successful people around the world, they actually have this very powerful ritual where they actually wake up at 5 a.m. Right? And why we want to wake up at 5 a.m.? Because we want to have additional time as compared to other people that wake up at 7 or 8 and they become very reactive. They respond a lot to the traffic, they respond to people trying to get into their energy. And so this idea of getting started early, wake up at 5 a.m. was something I did even when I had my baby to take care of. So when my baby was actually about 9-10 months, I started putting in a 5 a.m. ritual, because I wanted to have more time. Right, I wanted to have more time. So if it kind of makes sense if I actually wake up 2 hours earlier before every other people. This is on top of me having night feeds. I was still pumping then as well. So it was actually pretty exhausting. Okay, but what I realized that I actually did it wrongly. When I actually wake up to actually crunch my to-do list, I go into a firefighting mode. Okay, and I started and by the time 7 a.m. hits or 8 a.m. hits, I would be beaten. I would be exhausted. And of course, no guessing that alongside with putting my baby down for a nap and doing my work with not being fully recharged, no mental breaks, no idea about how to mentally recharge myself, my soul, enrich my how to enrich my mental health, well-being, meditation and sorts. I had zero idea back then. And then after that, by the time when 5 p.m. hits, 4 p.m., 5 p.m., I'll be so exhausted. I also will be in a very bad mood with the rest of my family members. And I think it actually didn't really bode well, because I'll be very snappy and I'll be very exhausted. And I'm sure this is a trap that many moms or working parents find themselves in. Okay, because the truth is, it's not about getting started early. You wake up at 5 a.m. and you start crunching your to-do list. The truth is, you have to devote the first 30 minutes, or if, some of you are really intense, like for myself, wake up the first hour of the day to have mental clarity and focus. Because when you actually have very strong mental processing, clarity and focus about what you want to do, how you want to show up, how you want to execute your stuff, hiccups through the day actually won't happen. Hiccups through the day won't hinder you at all. And I feel that is a very powerful momentum, because when you actually can conquer that waking up early in front more than so than any other buddy, anything that happens through the day, it'll be so effortless, right? So when we actually devote the first 30 minutes for any starter, and this is why I keep talking about my power time bundle, I actually devote the first 30 minutes of the day to have mental clarity, to have focus. You know what you want to do for project A, project B, project C, and then that's how things move very fast when the day just opens up. Okay, and at the end of the day, I realized that this technique about waking up early, having my meditation done, having my visualization work done, and that's what I actually put in my power time bundle. Gratitude journal as well, appreciation, okay, gratitude for the day before, the great things that happened to me, the great things that I really appreciate in my life. It actually set me up for success through the day. And at the end of the day, my 100K in 14 months, this was what I had. I had great health. Of course, that along the way when I was sick, but I found myself, I was never sick as much as I was before I started all of these. I used to have body aches, my shoulders, I would have headaches, my arms would be aching because I was sitting in front of the computer for 8 hours straight. But I realized that my body no longer had that pain anymore, because I was doing a lot of emotional release along the way. We actually released a lot of all that negative stress and that negative hormones from my body. So my body doesn't retain any of that. So I had great health. Okay, I love to actually really look younger as I age, as ironic as it sounds. Okay, I actually have an upgraded relationship. My communication, my husband improved so much, and it's constantly work in progress, because I have never ever neglected his support throughout my journey. I always know that having the support of my family members, having love, being cherished in my relationship, being cherished by my partner and even my son, makes me feel so loved and makes me feel very whole. And with that, it actually gives me a lot of energy to do my work, right? So I also had 48-hour no work weekend, 3-day work week. So I was able to compress all my work to like 3 days, so that like on the other 2 days, if I want, I actually can knock off earlier to hang out with my son, take him out preschool early, just go for girl stuff like massage, shopping, facial, which can be 3 hours long. Actually having a lot more downtime in my schedule as compared to the past when it was so packed. And I think best of all, in me getting my 100K in 14 months, was that I actually traveled twice in 3 months. And I think that is pretty, that's not something that everybody would do, because like the moment people usually say that if I want to travel, it's going to take me up time for money making, and I choose not to do it. But in fact, every time I travel, I come back with so much more energy. I come back with so much more inspiration, especially for my content, and so much more motivation in order to work further. And I think at the end of the day, this is what the whole being actually worked for me in the end. That's why I say that after I started my journey and like I started like fixing all of my other stuff, getting 100K in 14 months, I realized that wow, it actually is so easy. But because I had all those myths that what I mentioned, it was blocking me from going for my financial goal. And this is really something that I really wish to share, because it is actually very counter the norms of what people think, that you have to work hard, you have to earn more, and you get all this, you have to sacrifice more. But I can honestly say, if you sacrifice more, it's going to make you an unhappy person. It's going to make you very difficult to balance, and much less that a lot of me going out at nights for clients, or going for coaching sessions in between, I had give my husband a lot of credit for helping with the family, for taking my son up early from school, picking him up from school, and this wouldn't have been possible if I did not have great communication in my relationship. All right. So I hope this is really inspiring for all of you. 3 myths that we really want to debunk to getting to 100K. And tomorrow I would actually be talking about why hustling just didn't work for me anymore. And I feel like a lot of people who actually are, whether you're in sales, property, or whether you are striving hard on the corporate ladder, you actually feel like there's this point of expiration when you something that doesn't feel like it doesn't used to work a lot, it doesn't click with you anymore, and it's actually jeopardizing your own other personal life, whether it's personal time, family time, and so on. So tomorrow, day 3, why hustling just didn't work for me anymore, happening tomorrow. Okay, see you.